Hello, my name is Kelsey Zuniga, and today I'll be presenting a CrossFit field-based test battery focused on assessing performance factors related to the 2,000-meter row. So what is CrossFit? CrossFit is a form of functional fitness that incorporates a wide range of movements and training styles. However, there is often a perception that CrossFit is only for elite athletes, when in reality it serves a very broad population. One of the unique aspects of CrossFit is that it is designed for individuals of all fitness levels, with workouts that can be scaled based on ability. According to the CrossFit Level 1 Training Guide, the methodology is centered around developing broad, general, and inclusive fitness. The aim is to prepare individuals not just for a specific task, but for any physical contingency, including unknown and unpredictable challenges. CrossFit achieves this through constantly varied training that integrates multiple fitness domains and energy systems. The program is also evidence-based, relying on measurable, observable, and repeatable data to evaluate performance and guide training decisions. Ultimately, the goal is to increase work capacity across broad time and modal domains, which serve as key indicators of overall fitness. CrossFit training is structured around three primary modalities: monostructural conditioning, which includes cycling movements like rowing and running; gymnastics, which focuses on body weight control and coordination; and weightlifting, which develops strength and power through external loads. These modalities collectively develop a well-rounded fitness. CrossFit requires the development of multiple physical qualities, including strength, power, muscular endurance, mobility, and coordination. The 2,000-meter row specifically requires sustained power output, lower body force production, and efficient movement. This directly reflects the type of stimulus commonly seen in CrossFit workouts and competition settings, where athletes are required to maintain outputs over moderate durations while managing fatigue. From a physiological standpoint, this is a primary aerobic effort with anaerobic contributions, particularly during higher intensity portions of the workout like the beginning and the end. The objectives of this project were to perform a needs analysis of CrossFit and the 2,000-meter row, develop and administer a field-based test battery, analyze collected performance data, and evaluate the results relative to normative standards. In addition to these objectives, it is important to recognize that a more comprehensive test battery could be implemented to develop a full athletic profile. However, this assessment was specifically focused on evaluating athletic preparedness. The athletes were actively following an individualized, periodized training program, so incorporating maximal strength tests may have interfered with their current training phase. Because of this, the test battery was designed to provide meaningful performance insights without negatively impacting their training. Each assessment in the test battery was selected to evaluate a specific performance factor, identified in the needs analysis. Body composition was measured to understand how body fat and mass influence endurance and efficiency. The overhead squat was used to assess movement quality, including mobility, stability, and coordination, which are important for efficient force transfer. The vertical jump assessed lower body power, providing insight into the force production during the rowing stroke. Wingspan was measured as an anthropometric variable that may influence stroke length and efficiency. And finally, the 2,000-meter row serves as the primary performance test, assessing sustained power output and endurance. This assessment included 2 CrossFit athletes who were actively training in a CrossFit environment and following individualized, periodized programs. To ensure consistency, pre-test guidelines were implemented. Athletes refrained from training for 12 hours prior to testing and did not consume caffeine 30 minutes before testing. They were also instructed to maintain consistent training, recovery, and normal dietary habits leading up to the test. These controls were used to reduce external factors that could influence performance. This assessment included 2 participants with different demographics and training backgrounds. Participant 1 is a 26-year-old female with a competitive CrossFit background, while participant 2 is a 59-year-old male who participates at a recreational level. There is also a difference in height between the 2 participants, which may influence factors such as leverage and movement mechanics. These characteristics provide important context when interpreting performance, as training background and individual differences can influence outcomes. Body composition was assessed using an in-body scan to evaluate body fat percentage and overall composition. This measure is important because body composition can influence performance, particularly in endurance-based efforts like the 2,000-meter row. Higher levels of excess body fat may reduce efficiency, while appropriate levels of body composition can support performance. The results were compared to normative ranges to provide context. This table provides a general profile for each participant, including anthropometric and body composition data. Participant 1 presented with a smaller overall frame, lower body mass, lower body fat mass, which may support efficiency in endurance-based tasks. Participant 2 demonstrated a larger body size with a greater total mass and skeletal mass, but also with higher body fat mass. And while increased muscle mass can contribute to force production, excess body mass can impact efficiency and increase the energy costs during sustained efforts, such as the 2,000-meter row. These profiles provide important context when interpreting performance outcomes, as body composition can influence both power production and endurance capacity. The in-body scan provides multiple areas of measurement, including BMI. Based on BMI classifications, participant 1 falls within the overweight category, while participant 2 falls within the obese category. However, it is important to recognize that BMI does not differentiate between lean mass and fat mass. This is important because in athletic populations, higher body mass often reflects more muscle, not excess fat. Because of this limitation, BMI should be interpreted with caution. The in-body scans can provide more accurate measures that provide a better representation of body composition. Instead, body fat percentage provides a more accurate assessment of body composition compared to BMI because it directly measures the proportion of fat mass relative to lean mass. Participant 1 recorded a body fat percentage of 15.6%, which falls within the excellent category based on age-specific standards. Participant 2 recorded a body fat percentage of 27%, which falls within the poor classification. Unlike BMI, which only considers height and weight, body fat percentage allows for a clearer understanding of an individual's health and performance profile. Because of this, body fat percentage is considered a more meaningful indicator of health and performance in athletic populations. Wingspan was measured as an anthropometric variable to assess reach. Participant 1 recorded a wingspan of 65 inches, while participant 2 recorded a wingspan of 71 inches. This measure is relevant to rowing performance because a greater wingspan may contribute to a longer stroke length, which can improve efficiency during the pull. While wingspan is not a modifiable factor, it provides a useful context when interpreting performance outcomes. For example, participant 2's greater reach may support a longer stroke length and potentially improve efficiency during the rowing assessment. A standardized warm-up was implemented for both participants using the RAMP protocol, which includes raise, activate, mobilize, and potentiate. This approach was used to increase body temperature, activate key muscle groups, improve joint mobility, and prepare the athletes for performance. The warm-up also included progressive movements leading into the vertical jump and rowing assessments. The goal was to adequately prepare the athletes while minimizing fatigue, ensuring that performance outcomes were not negatively impacted. The overhead squat was used as a qualitative assessment of movement competency, focusing on mobility, stability, and coordination. Participant 1 demonstrated full competency across all criteria, maintaining heels down, proper knee tracking, and upright torso, stable overhead positioning, and appropriate depth. This resulted in a total score of 5 out of 5. Participant 2 showed some movement limitations, specifically in an inability to maintain an upright torso and achieve proper depth, resulting in a score of 3 out of 5. These findings suggest potential limitations in mobility, particularly in the hips or thoracic spine, which may impact movement efficiency. This is important because poor positioning and movement control can lead to energy leaks, reducing the effectiveness of force transfer during movements such as the rowing stroke. The vertical jump was used to assess lower body power, which is a key contributor to force production. Jump height was determined by calculating the difference between standing reach and maximal jump height, with the best of 3 trials recorded. Participant 1 recorded a jump height of 17.5 inches, which falls within the average range based on normative standards. Participant 2 recorded a jump height of approximately 12.25 inches, which falls below average. This is important because lower body power contributes to the ability to generate force during the rowing stroke, particularly during the drive phase. Performance was evaluated relative to normative standards based on age and sex to provide meaningful context for each assessment. It is important to recognize that individual factors may influence outcomes, including differences in power and endurance capacity. Additionally, variations in testing technique may impact results. For example, participant 2 did not maintain proper lateral positioning during the vertical jump assessment, which may have influenced the accuracy of the measurement. Because of this, results should be interpreted within the context of both normative standards and testing conditions. The 2,000-meter row was used as the primary performance assessment. This test evaluates aerobic capacity, muscular endurance, and the ability to sustain power output over a moderate duration effort. Participants completed the row for time on a Concept 2 rowing ergometer, with athletes selecting their preferred damper setting to reflect typical training conditions. Performance was measured using total time compared to normative standards to provide context for evaluation. This test directly reflects the demands of CrossFit workouts where athletes are required to maintain output while managing fatigue. The results of the 2,000-meter row are shown here, including split times, stroke rate, and the total time to completion. Participant 1 completed the row in 7 minutes and 48 seconds, while participant 2 completed it in 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Both participants demonstrated relatively consistent pacing across the intervals, with slight variations in split times throughout the effort. Stroke rate differed between the participants, with participant 2 maintaining a higher overall stroke rate compared to participant 1. When compared to normative standards, participant 1 falls within the advanced performance range, while participant 2 falls within the intermediate range for their respective age categories. Both participants demonstrated the ability to sustain output throughout the test, with performance differences likely influenced by the individual factors such as power, movement quality, and efficiency. This table summarizes each participant's performance relative to normative standards and highlights how individual factors may influence outcomes. For participant 1, body composition fell within the excellent range, which may support efficiency during sustained efforts. Movement quality was also adequate, indicating effective mobility and stability for force transfer. Additionally, participant 1 demonstrated an average lower body power and performed within the advanced range on the 2,000-meter row assessment. Together, these factors suggest the ability to effectively produce and sustain power throughout the effort. For participant 2, body composition was classified as poor, which may increase energy costs during prolonged activities. Movement assessment also revealed reduced mobility, particularly in maintaining an upright torso and achieving depth, which may impact efficiency and positioning. Lower body power was below average, indicating potential limitations in force production. But despite these factors, participant 2 still performed within the intermediate range of the 2,000-meter row assessment, suggesting the ability to maintain output even though potentially at higher physiological costs. Overall, these findings highlight that each participant's performance is influenced by a combination of physical qualities and should be interpreted within the context of the individual. Thank you for your time and attention.